Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to all of you on this Independence Day special here on the Times Network. It is often said that a smooth sea never makes a skillful sailor. The two women I introduce to you today are living embodiments of that wisdom. Lieutenant Commander Dilna and Lieutenant Commander Roopa, both from the Indian Navy, have broken the waves and made history. It took them 238 days, over 25,000 nautical miles, and many a storms to get there. But they and their iconic yacht, sailing boat, Tarini, rode the storms, circumnavigated the earth with the tricolour in tow, and have come back home to a very proud nation. Lieutenant Commander Dilna and Lieutenant Commander Roopa, a very warm welcome to you here on Times Network, and many, many congratulations. Can I start by asking you where this journey of over 25,000 nautical miles started? You, of course, joined the Navy. And then how do you decide to volunteer and put your hands up for an adventure like this?
So I always loved playing sports, different sports, and I love to take challenges in life. So after joining Navy, I was looking for the right opportunity. That's when Navy asked for volunteers to go around the world, and I said yes.
There were 6 women. I mean, this is INS Tarini. This is the second time it's actually circumnavigating the earth. But the batch that went before you, the OG batch as it were, had 6 women. Here it was just the 2 of you. Did that scare you a bit that, 6 women have done it before together? So if there's a problem, if there's a storm, if there's a crisis, there are, 6 pairs of hands to manage that crisis. Here it was just the 2 of you.
Yeah, you were right. And we knew this when we volunteered for this. And it was going to be very challenging. What happens is with 6 people to 2 of us, we had to do everything at a faster cadence. So whatever we do, we had to pace it in a faster pace. And be it any evolution, be it cooking, navigation, sailing, hoisting the sails, all of the evolutions are very physical and very demanding. And also mentally demanding when you are going through a very tough situation and you have not slept properly, you have not had a good warm food, but still you have to push yourself physically and mentally. And with just the 2 of us, it was very difficult. And we didn't knew exactly how it was going to be until we were in that situation.
But before you got to that point, right, to the send-off on October 2nd, there was 3 years of planning, there was 3 years of practice more than that before that. Talk to us a bit about that and what circumnavigating the earth actually mean and involve.
So this journey is not just an 8 months journey for us. We have been training for last 3 years and plus this 8 months. So almost 4 years we have been sailing. We spent most of the time at sea than in the land. So initially we started with sailing with along 6-member crew. Along with the experienced skippers of Indian Navy. We went through many sorties, preparatory sorties, starting from Goa to Mauritius and back, Goa to Cape Town, Rio de Janeiro and back. We participated in the Cape to Rio race. So we have done a lot of preparatory sorties before we started this expedition. And last 1 year of the training was kept only for the dual-handed sorties.
What does that mean? What does dual-handed sorties mean?
Dual-handed means that it was only myself and Lieutenant Commander Dilna on the boat, and we have to carry out all the tasks, including sailing, navigation, cooking, and any repairs of equipments which we had, which is very common in the sea, and also all the course which you do at a home, because it was a home for the last 8 months, and involving sailing and planning the passage. So all of it we had to do on our own.
But this was a home that at one point, the closest human to you was actually astronauts at the International Space Station. This is at Point Nemo, I believe?
Yes.
And just talk to us about that point. Was Point Nemo the highlight for you? And if yes, why?
So Point Nemo was the highlight in this entire journey because Point Nemo is the remotest part of the Earth.
Correct.
And the closest human beings we could communicate is the astronauts in the International Space Station. And reaching that exact coordinates was not easy for us because we had to do a slight reroute of the passage. there was a storm which was approaching. We had to take a calculated risk, whether to go to that point and make history or to go straight and avoid the storm. So we took a decision to go to that point, and we are the only one in India, in Asia, maybe the first in the world, to go to the exact coordinates of point Nemo and document it. And at the same time, we were also able to collect the water samples from that exact coordinates, and we handed over to the National Institute of Oceanography in Goa.
Point Nemo actually is also called the graveyard of satellites, I believe, because at one point we didn't even know whether marine life exists there, right? So what was your experience there? When you were hitting that point, did you think we are making history, or were you just busy trying to navigate through it and fatafat come out?
We just had one thought in our minds, that how often do we come close to such locations on the earth? And although we had a major challenge which was approaching us, we took a decision to reach that point. And that moment when we were at that point, it felt it still feels surreal. And there was a bird which was following us to that point.
Wow.
Nemo.
Wow. Wow. The other challenge, we've seen pictures that you have taken at all points. You even managed to document your entire journey. And the pictures that we are playing for our viewers are pictures that you have taken, actually, the videos that you have taken. And we are seeing you weather many a storms. One of this storm, I believe, did come your way at Cape Horn, where the Pacific and the Atlantic meet. And this is one of the toughest, I believe, spots in the seas and oceans for any sailor to cross. What was that journey like for you?
So we actually planned this entire journey around Cape Horn because that is the most important part of the passage. And it is the most dangerous place on the earth and the most feared location of even most experienced sailors. And fortunately or unfortunately, we had the worst of our weather at that point. And we had confused seas where there were like huge waves from 7 to 8 meters slamming onto a boat from all the sides. And firstly, when we were there, we didn't know what was happening because Tarini was behaving very differently, and it took us some time to understand what was happening and to get her under control. And before we reached that point, we only have heard about the Drake Passage from people who have gone there. But until we reached that point, we realized why is it called the most dangerous place on earth. And that day it was very cold and with very low visibility and lots of rain with winds and waves from all the sides. We still remember that day.
Dilna?
Yeah, the same as she said. That day we'll never forget, because the boat was out of control. It was very difficult to control the boat, and we never saw such seas, the confused seas. Like the waves are coming from all the different directions and coming and crashing over Tarini at a full force. So after we rounded that point, we actually wanted to go near the cape and take a photograph. That was our wish. But at some moment we had to forgo that ambition of going near the cape. But still we were able to, this is crossing the equator. And crossing Cape Horn was like a really challenging one. But still we managed to put a smile on our face, and we were able to hoist and we were able to flew our national flag and Indian Navy flag at the Cape Horn.
Is that the proud moment that you're not just carrying yourselves, you're not just carrying the sailboat, but you're also carrying the hopes and aspirations of 1 billion plus people, the pride of the nation with you as well? Is there also that emotional moment when you're in the middle of nowhere to, hoist the Indian flag and feel connected to your country and its countrymen?
Yes, we have ensured that we will fly our national flag and Indian Navy flag at every point we reach, be it equator, crossing all the 3 great capes, Cape Lewin in Australia, Cape of Good Hope in South Africa, and Cape Horn in southern tip of South America. So we have ensured that we will fly our national flag at all the points, and even even though we were exhausted at that moment, we were able to do it. That's one of the proud moments which we never missed to do.
So actually, for example, at Cape Horn, we didn't sleep for like around 30 hours, and we were completely exhausted mentally and physically. But then that moment when we rounded Cape Horn, we knew that we had to fly our national flag and a naval ensign, where that moment actually brought us all the energy back, and we really felt very proud. And it's a privilege actually to represent the country and to represent Indian Navy at the remotest part of the earth, and to feel that belongingness there, even though we were completely away from all of our family, friends and the country, we still felt like we were carrying all the responsibility, and those belongingness, that belongingness was there.
Okay, so you were alone in the middle of nowhere, and yet when you carried the flag with you, the tricolor with you, you knew you were connected to a country and its people who were rooting for you, cheering for you. Can I ask you then, at moments like in Point Nemo that you talked about, or Cape Horn, where you are faced with these monstrous waves, these crazy, absolutely demented storms, did you feel at points that there was a greater force that was behind you, pushing you towards success?
So, yeah, that was always there, that whenever we were going through situation, it was, although it was just the both of us going through the situation physically, we had our thoughts and the love from our family and friends and the Indian Navy. They knew like what sea state we were going through currently. So we had, I think, the thoughts and the positive thoughts from all of our friends and family. It followed us everywhere, and we definitely would say that if we didn't have there were situations all around us which could cause a great mishap, and it has happened before with many other people, and it was not everybody who wanted to round the Cape Horn had done it successfully. There were many mishaps which had happened, but if we were able to do it successfully, I think, yes, there was a bigger force behind us.
I believe there was a little Ganesha statue also.
Yes.
Yeah. Wishing you luck as you went around, Dilna?
Yes, that was given by our parents before we left on October 2nd. So whenever this weather went bad and there was a cyclone and things were out of control, we actually felt there was a force along with us. The nature itself was there along with us, and we knew that we will be able to get out of it. There were times where we were exhausted and we felt like giving up, but still when we think about the destination where we have to reach, we started from Goa and we have to go back to Goa and finish the circumnavigation, which was our dream for the last 4 years, then automatically we were charged up and we got the energy.
Just to put your feet in perspective, more people have actually climbed Mount Everest, the tallest mountain in this world, than people who have circumnavigated the world. It's just a handful of people, and you now are one of them. Can I ask you then, at one point in your journey, 238 days, one day suddenly, out of the blue, your navigation panel goes black. Did you think at that point this is the end?
So this is happening in the Pacific Ocean at around 2 a.m. It was a pitch dark night. So 100-knot storm was approaching on our way, and we had to go away from it. So there was a series of alarm which came, and everything went off, like GPS went off. We didn't have the boat heading where we will get to know where the boat is facing. That went off, and there was no wind instruments, and the steering went off. And for a moment, we felt like we were lost at sea because at that point, if at all you need some assistance, if at all somebody want to come and help you, it will take around 2 to 3 days because you are in the middle of the Pacific. So it was a bit challenging moment, but we kept calm and we were able to figure out what went wrong. It took us around 3 to 4 hours to figure out because it's hundreds of cables are lying in the boat. We have to find we have to go through each and every cables and figure out what went wrong. So we were able to manage, we were able to rectify the error because we were trained by Indian Navy to go through all the challenges during our preparatory sorties, how to go through all this navigation panel blackout and how to handle all the emergencies was taught to us, so we could handle it.
You were, of course, in touch with the Navy and, I don't know, possibly your parents as well. You had a satellite phone. Could you talk to us a bit about how it was connecting to the world from the middle of nowhere? Because I think I read one of you say that while, you know, the oceans are part of the world, part of the earth, they are something completely different. They're a completely different world in their own.
Yeah, so the ocean, the seas belong to the same planet, but they feel like it feels like you are in a completely different world out there. And we had a satellite communication where we share our position with the Indian Navy every 12 hours. And we use the same network to get in touch with our family as well. But it's a very basic communication package, and it works well, fine.
So what were the calls with your parents like, can I ask you?
What was it?
What were the calls with your parents like? What was the worry? What were they asking? They can't ask you, beta khana khaya ya nahi khaya? Or
No, that's what they ask, actually. Wherever you are, even in the middle of the ocean, what our parents ask us, did you eat? Did you sleep? Which we might not have done, but we don't tell them. We just say like, yeah, everything is going fine. Or sometimes we are not in touch with them when the sea is very rough, because we are not in the mindset to talk to people, because you have a lot of things going on around you. So that time we just tell them that, you know, the sea is rough and we will get back to you after some time.
I have told whatever was happening in the boat, like even if it's a storm or cyclone, I have told them. But whenever we are disconnected for a long time, then the message comes like, are you okay? Is everything is fine? Even if you are not able to call, just put a message, okay, that is enough for me. So that's what my mother used to say.
I'm fairly certain they had sleepless nights in these 238 days that you were out. You know, when you look back to your journey, it's of course, you know, a remarkable feat that you have achieved, a record-breaking feat as well, a feat that has made the entire country proud. But when you look back, what is it that the oceans have taught you?
The ocean has been my biggest teacher, I would say, and I learned about myself during the sailing, all these years of sailing, and definitely this circumnavigation going through Southern Ocean was the biggest challenge which I had faced until now, and it has definitely made me a better person. And it just doesn't give you answers. You don't like get answers to your questions in the sea, but it gives you millions of perspective when you are alone, you are just far away from a lot of distractions. You keep thinking. It's a very introspective journey which happened, and so you get a lot of perspectives, and there's a lot of thoughts which goes on inside you, and definitely it has made a positive impact on me.
So sea have taught me to push my limits. There were times where we were exhausted. We were not sure about what to do. We were scared and we were uncertain. So all these moments, you can't wait for the sea to, like, you have to face on the challenges head on. You can't wait in the middle of the ocean. So it has taught me how to be comfortable in an uncomfortable zone.
You were, of course, not just circumnavigating the earth, you were also part of marine research, right? Could you tell us what you were doing? You were collecting water samples, I understand that. But as you traveled the oceans, in your voyage, were concerns of marine pollution also something that you thought about, given that you were in the ocean for 238 days? Did you see some things that actually shocked you?
So we collected 60 water samples across the ocean, especially we could collect the water samples at Point Nemo, Cape Horn, and all the 3 Great Caves, Equator. So we could hand over the water samples to National Institute of Oceanography, which they will be using for the further studies, and also the Wildlife Institute of India. We try to capture the birds and whales, dolphins, whatever creatures we have seen in the ocean, we will be giving the data to him, like data to the Wildlife Institute of India. There were times during the training period we have seen dead whales, the big dead whales, and 2-3 times tortoises, dead tortoises, and in the middle of the ocean. So, yeah.
Also, there's a very big stark difference when you're sailing deep in the ocean. The quality of the water changes. Where we go deep below in the Southern Ocean, we use the seawater for everything. And as we approach near the land, we can feel, because we can see plastic bottles floating, and the sight of those just reminds us that somewhere the land is close by. And after sailing, being in the ocean for so long, it really bothers us, and we feel, after interacting and being along with the birds and all the marine mammals, and we feel that some oceans are not some place where it has to be crossed. It is definitely a family which we need to protect.
Can I, in conclusion, then ask both of you, you've talked to us about what the ocean has taught you, but can I ask you, when you look back in perspective, what your journey has been about, how you look at the feat that you have already accomplished? For you, is it that this was a major record-breaking journey, we've done it, khatam, or is this the start of many more voyages? How do you look at it?
We feel like it's just the beginning, because we've realized our potential, and one major realization is that when I got out of my comfort zone, I realized what I'm capable of, and definitely this has given me the confidence and the trust in myself, where I will not limit myself to what I know my limit is, because I'm sure that I'm capable of something more.
This journey has changed my life. I've learned a lot through this journey, and Navy has prepared us throughout these years, and since we have completed this, it is making a major impact on women in India. We were able to tell the entire world what we are capable of, what the Indian women are capable of through this journey.
Lieutenant Commander Roopa, Lieutenant Commander Dilna, wishing you both fair winds and following seas. We hope to see many more voyages from the two of you. Thank you very much and all the very best. Thank you for coming to Times Now.
Thank you.
The biggest news break of the